Here given below are the two statements. One is labeled as assertion and second is the reason. So assertion here, the concentration of an unrefined population like mercury get progressively magnified up the trophic level or the marine ecosystem. This is true. And high trophic level, reason is the high trophic level carnivores possess highly efficient metabolic pathway that break down the heavy metal rapidly. So this is false statement. So here A is true and B is false. The reason is false. Here we have to tell which one of the following condition in an autosomal recessive metabolic disorder cause the lack of an enzyme needed to break down an amino acid phenylalanine. That is phenylketonuria is the answer. Next question is, which one of the following plant growth inhibitor is synthesized heavily during the environmental stress condition that trigger the stomatal closure and the seed dormancy? That is ABA, abscisic acid. Which one of the following functional layer of human uterus undergoes cyclic structural breakdown of shedding during a normal menstrual cycle? That is endometrium, that is shedded. What type of sensory receptor are located inside the aortic arc and carotid artery to monitor the change in the hydrogen ion and carbon dioxide concentration in human blood? So that is the chemoreceptor. Here you have to match the following digestive enzyme or secretion of column 1 with the respect source of the target cell in the column 2. Here pepsinogen, trypsinogen, mucus and HCl is given in column 1, whereas in column 2 we can see the goblet cell, parietal cell, chief cell and pancreatic acinous cell. So here A, that is pepsinogen, it is matching with the chief cell. Now there are only two options that show A is 3, that is option 1 and option 2. Here B, trypsinogen, it is pairing with the pancreatic Chinar cell, whereas the C, that is mucus, that is the goblet cell, and the HCl, that is parietal cell. So here first option is correct. Moving on to the next question. So here, which one of the following cardiac event corresponds directly to the depolarization of the ventricle as observed as a standard human ECG, that is QRS complex? Then a person who is unable to produce sufficient level of antidiuretic hormone from the posterior pituitary gland will suffer from the diabetes insipidus, that is option 2 is the correct answer. Moving on to the next question. So here we can see given below are two statements, one is labeled assertion and other is reason. So the assertion is the CO2 is transported from the body tissue to the lung primarily in the form of the HCO3, that is bicarbonate ion, and the reason is the red blood cell contain a very high concentration of enzyme carbonic anhydrase which accelerate this reversible reaction. So here both options are correct. A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. So first option is correct here. So here the question is, during the structural DNA packaging and eukaryotic cell nucleus, how many base pair of DNA are typically wrapped around a single histone octamer core from a nucleosome? That are the 200 base pairs that are wrapped around the single histone octamer to form a nucleosome. Then next question is, we have to match the following phases of prophase I with the column characteristics chromosome behavior. So leptotene, zygotene, pachytene and diplotene are given here, and column 2 have pairs of homologous chromosome, that is synapses, appearance of the recombinant nodule and crossing over, and third is the dissolution of the synaptonemal complex schizma visibility, and fourth is the chromosome becoming gradually visible under light microscope. So here the correct answer is, that is leptotene, it is pairing with the fourth option, that is chromosomal becoming gradually visible under the light microscope in the leptotene stage, whereas the zygotene it pairs with the homologous chromosome, that is the synapses, and pachytene it is pairing with the appearance of the recombination nodules and crossing over, and diplotene it is pairing with the dissolution of the synaptonemal complexes chiasma visibility. So D is pairing with the 3. So here the first option is correct here. Moving on to the next question. Here there are two statements regarding the plant-water relationship they are given here. The root pressure is primarily responsible for upward movement of water in tall towering tree like eucalyptus. Here wrong, the first statement is false, whereas the statement 2, the driving force of the ascent of xylem sap is tall trees, is transpiration pull driven by evaporation from the leaf. This is true statement. So first statement is false and the second is true. So here the option 3 is correct. It is showing first statement is false and second statement is true. Identifying the specific cellular site where the synthesis of the ribosomal RNA actively takes place inside the eukaryotic cell, that is the nucleus, where the specific cellular site where the synthesis of the ribosome RNA actively takes place inside the eukaryotic cell. Next question is, which one of the following conditions represent a structural abnormality where an individual has a total 47 chromosome, that is XXY, that is Klinefelter syndrome, that shows 47 chromosome, that is XXY 6 chromosome configuration. Now, which type of cell junction act as a structural barrier that blocks the material from leaking across a layer of epithelial tissue, that is a tight junction, that the cell wall that act as a structural barrier that block the material from leaking across a layer of epithelial tissues. Now here we have to match the pair, that is statin, cyclosporine, streptokinase and lipase. So here, and second is immunosuppressive agent used in organ transplantation. Second is blood cholesterol lowering agent, and third is removal of oil stain from the laundry fabric, and fourth is the clot buster. The cyclosporine it is matching with the immunosuppressive agent used in the organic transport. The clot buster is matching with the streptokinase is clot buster. C is 4, then B is 1, that is cyclosporine A is immunosuppressive agent used in the organ transplantation, and statin that is the blood cholesterol lowering agent, and D that is lipase, it is removal of oil stain from the laundry fabric. Here given below are the two statements, assertion and reason. We have to tell whether A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A, or not, or both are false. So here the pyramid of energy are always upright. It is true in all natural functional ecosystem without exception. The option A, assertion, is true. The reason, when the energy flows from one tropic level to the next, a significant amount of energy is always lost as an heat at each step. So this is true. So R is the correct explanation of A. So here both options A and R are true. Which of the following part of the human female reproductive system is precise site where the fertilization typically takes place, that is ampulla of the fallopian tube. In fallopian tube, the ampulla is the place where the part where the precise site where the fertilization typically takes place. In an expanding human population pyramid, the distribution of the age group typically is a high percentage of reproductive individual compared to the reproductive ones. Here the question is, which one of the following conditions represent a specialized root modification found in the parasitic plant like the dodo to absorb the water and nutrition directly from the host plant and in a vascular tissue. So here the answer is hostorial roots. Next question, we have to match the column 1 with column 2. The medullary ray pericycle, endodermis and phylloderm, and the column 2 has the subrine thickened protective layer, radial band of the parenchyma connecting the pit and cortex, then sclerenchymatous or parenchymatous layer outside the vascular bundle, the starch rich innermost layer of the cortex. So here we have to tell the answer. So here the medullary ray, it is matching with the radial band of the parenchyma connecting the pith and the cortex, whereas the pericycle, it is pairing with the sclerenchymatous or parenchymatous layer outside the vascular bundle, and endodermis, it is pairing with the starch rich innermost layer of the cortex, whereas the phylloderm, it is matching with the subrine thickened protective layer. Here given below are the two statements regarding the process of mineral nutrition in the plant. Statement 1 and statement 2, we have to tell whether they are correct or incorrect, and whether they are both are false or both are true, or the statement 1 is true or statement 2 is false. So here the macronutrition like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium are generally required by the plant tissue in a large amount in excess of 10 millimolar kg inverse of dry matter. True. Macronutrient like the nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, they are generally required by the plant tissue and in large amount. So this is true statement. Statement 2 is micronutrient like zinc, copper, boron, they are required in the trace amount that is less than 10 millimolar kg inverse of dry matter. Yes, both the statement are correct here. So moving on to the next question. Identify the specific step of glycolysis where a molecule of NADH and H it is generated from the oxidation of a carbohydrate substrate, that is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate to 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. Why this option is correct? Because we have to identify the specific step of glycolysis where the molecule of NADH and H plus is generated from the oxidation of a carbohydrate substrate. Why is this correct? Let's know. During the P-off phase of glycolysis, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, that is PGAL, undergo oxidation and phosphorylation to form 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. So this step NAD is reduced to NADH and H plus. Why the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphorodehydrogenase? Here we have to match the column 1 with the column 2. So the column 1 shows family, order, genus and species, whereas column 2 it shows Solanum, Solanaceae, Polynomials and Tuberosum. So here the family is Solanaceae, that is A is pairing with 2. Then order, what is the order here? Polynomials, option 2 is the order. The genus is Solanum, and species, which of the following condition represents so here the correct option where the stamen are fuses together into a single composite bundle of tubule, that is monoadelphous condition, in which the structural state where the stamen that are fused together and into a single composite bundle or a tube. Here given below are two statements regarding the primary structure of leaf anatomy. The statement 1 is in an isobilateral monocotyledonous leaf, the stomata is distributed almost equally on both the upper and lower epidermis. Here the statement 1 is true. Now statement 2, let's see. In a dorsiventral dicotyledonous leaf, the vascular bundle are always of an uniform identical size regardless of the vein distribution. So here the statement 2 is false. They are not distributed. The dorsiventral dicotyledonous leaf, the vascular bundle, they are not always uniform or identical in size regardless of the vein distribution. So this is false statement. Identify the specific, next question is identify the specific phase of Prophase I in meiosis where the cross-shaped structure configuration is called the chiasma first become clearly visible. That is in Diplotene stage where it will be clearly visible. So here the Diplotene is answer. Next is during the cellular respiration, the mobile metabolic electron carrier that transfer the electron from the complex 3 to complex 4 in the electron transport chain, that is the cytochrome C. If double-stranded DNA molecules are present, double-stranded DNA molecules contain 20% of adenine, what will be the percentage of guanine and in the DNA segment? So here option A is 20%, option B is 30%, option C is 40% and option D is 60%. So for that we will solve this question. Total percent of purine equal to the pyrimidine, that is A is equal to T and G is equal to C. If A is 20%, then T will be 20%, whereas together A plus T, that comes out to be 20 plus 20, that is 40%, and remaining percent, they belong to G and C, that is 100 minus 40, that comes out to be 60%. So since G is equal to C, we will divide the remaining, that is G is equal to 60% upon 2, that comes out to be 30%. So here we get the answer 30%. Given a match the column. So here the match the column have animal characteristics, column 1 and column 2. Here column 1 is 6 to 15 pair of gill slits, B is the heterococal caudal fins, C is air bladder, D is poison sting. And the column 1 have trigone, cyclostoma, chondriocytes and osteocytes. So here the 6 to 15 pair of gill slits, they are formed heterococal caudal fins. These type of caudal fins, they are formed in the chondriocytes. 6 to 15 pairs of gill slit, they are found in cyclostomes, these caudal fins are formed in the chondriocytes. Air bladder, the air bladder, they are in the osteocytes, and poison sting, they are present in the trigone. Trigone is a stingray with a poison sting. And osteocytes, these possess a air bladder for buoyancy. Next is we have to tell the stem modification in column B and in the column 1 and the plant examples. So flattened photosynthetic stem, woody pointed throne, spiral coiling and stem tendrils, and the fleshy cylindrical stem. These are A, B, C, D. We have to tell which of the plant possess this. So like in euphorbia, opentia, bougainvillea and watermelon. So here the correct answer for this question is the flattened photosynthetic stem. They are present in the opentia. Opentia is a cactus like a structure that have a flattened stem for photosynthesis, and the bougainvillea, it have a protective thorns. Watermelon have a tender like climbers, they are climbers, and euphorbia have a fleshy cylindrical stem. So here the answer is B is pairing. Woody pointed thorns that are present in bougainvillea. We know that there are thorns present in the bougainvillea, and the spiral coiling stem, tendrils, they are present in the watermelon, and the fleshy cylindrical stem, that is a euphorbia. Next question. The cell cycle phases are given G1, S, G2 and M, and we have to tell the synthesis of the DNA of copy that occurs in the S phase, that is 2 is pairing with A. G1 phase, the cell growth physically is larger. Now let's see, 2 is A. Yes, and the G1 is the cell growing phase, where the G1 gap 1 phase where the growth occurs. Then G2 phase is the phase where the reorganization in the preparation for the mitosis takes place, whereas the M phase where the division of DNA and the cytoplasm takes place. Here we have to tell the biological study and their specialization. Like study of fungi, we know that mycology, A is pairing with 2. Then palynology. What is palynology? Palynology is study of the pollen grains. And oncology, what is it? Study of tumors. Whereas echytology, it is study of the fishes. Now there are botanical terms given in column 1 and column 2. We have to tell like parthenocarpic fruits, ovules and endosperm, and the column 2 have 3 and nutrition tissue, mature ovary walls develop without fertilization and develop into a seed. So parthenocarpy, it is development that is without fertilization. Pericarp, what is pericarp? It is a ovary wall. Here the A is pairing with the mature ovary wall. Then ovule, what is a ovule? It is pairing with development in the seeds. And endosperm, It is pairing with the 3N nutritional tissues. Thanks for watching. Do like, share and subscribe Biominds.